To a story that has stayed in the top spot on our website since we first reported it. A local physician will surrender his license on December 1st. Dr. Gabe Frank, who practices at the Frank Institute in Wilmington, agrees to surrender his license after quality of care concerns from the North Carolina Medical Board were raised. The board found several violations, including overprescribing testosterone for an 86-year-old man and treating patients in states where he was not licensed. WECT's Mackenzie Bruns has been asking questions today. She talked with a spokesperson from the medical board today. Mackenzie, if Dr. Frank doesn't turn in his license until December, is he still able to prescribe medications and care for patients?
Fran, he can. From now until December, Dr. Gabe Frank can not only see patients, but I'm told from a spokesperson with the board he can prescribe medications. Dr. Gabe Frank treats patients here at the Frank Institute on Commonwealth Drive in Wilmington. Now, Dr. Frank is no stranger to the board. The medical board has a record of issues with the physician since 2018. Now, some incidents are related to business practices in medicine, and others are related to quality of patient care. The board issued a consent order on September 23rd, and they found he overprescribed testosterone to an 86-year-old male patient, deliberately ignored abnormal thyroid results, and treated patients in states where he was not licensed. The consent order states that Dr. Frank wants to, quote, resolve this matter without the need for more formal proceedings. He also did not contest to the findings. Fran?
So, Mackenzie, we know he can reapply for his license in July of 2026, but that doesn't guarantee he'll get his license back.
No, Fran, not at all. I'm told from a spokesperson with the board that the medical board is not obligated to reinstate his license. They will need to discuss based on several factors like his history.
All right, Mackenzie, thanks so much for that update.